We were introduced to new typings for the first time in the second generation of Steel and Dark type to help balance out the game. Last generation, we were introduced to the Fairy typing to make some more needed balances to the game to make the Dragon and Fighting types less dominant and give strength to Steel and Poison types. With this new typing in Generation 6, there could be another new typing on the way. But first, I had to think what needs to be balanced in the game to give a new type in the first place. I decided to make a list of all the types to see what their strengths and weaknesses were and to use them as a point system. For example, 3 strengths equals 3 points, and 2 weaknesses would be -2 points, so the total points would be 1 point for that typing. If a type ends up with 1 point or higher, it needs to be weakened. If a type ends up with below 0 points, it needs to be strengthened. We could get really technical with this by adding resistances, but for the sake of this video, let's just keep it nice and simple. After making this chart, I found out that the types that need to be weakened are electric, fire, ground, fighting, fairy, and water. Types that need to be stronger are grass, normal, rock, ghost, and psychic. I didn't add dragon to this list since it is a unique type due to the fact that it's only super effective against itself and has many resistances. So now that we know what needs to be strengthened and weakened, we can pick and choose at most 3 types from each side what this new type is strong and weak against. We will choose the genres of types this new typing could be, and then we will decide what would make sense the new types could be strong or weak against. So I tried to come up with as many possible typings as I could, so here are my results. Monster and Beast type, Magic type, Light type, Sound type, Fossil type, Zombie type, Wind or Air type, and Warrior type. If you guys have any other possible typings, let me know in the comment section below, but let's cover what I just listed. First, some past discussed types were Light and Sound. Light for the fact that it's opposite of Dark, which could have been the current Fairy type. Now that Fairy has taken that spot, it seems like we won't be getting that Light type anymore. As for Sound though, the type could be stronger than Water because Sound travels better in water. Sound is a pressure wave, but this wave behaves slightly different through air as compared to water. Water is denser than air, so it takes more energy to generate a wave, but once that wave has started, it will travel faster than it would do in the air. Sound also can be stronger against electric types, since sound waves can disrupt electrical appliances. There don't seem to be any logical weaknesses for sound from the choices we have to choose from, so I'll let you guys decipher that in the comments. There are also many moves that use voices as well, and there is an ability called Soundproof. Sound type still could be a possibility introduced to Pokemon. Fossil type also has been discussed before, but I don't see what a fossil could be strong against. A fossil is an object, not a typing. That is why I believe that we will never get a fossil typing in Pokemon, but just fossil Pokemon with the typing that there currently is out there. The next possible typings could be monster or beast type. We got a fairy, which I consider as an elegant and more female-based type that is now one of the more stronger types in the game. Now we need to make fairy weaker. What better way to make fairy weaker by bringing out some mean and monstrous Pokemon that would make fairies wet their pants? I miss the ruggedness with Pokemon designs from Generation 1 and 2, and to bring them back as intimidating Pokemon by creating the monster or beast type would be a great addition to incorporate in the new games. Also, monster and beast type would be strong against fighting because I doubt something that punches or kicks would want anything to do with a Pokemon with a beast or monster typing. Weaknesses could be ghost and psychic typing because we could just say ghosts scare the beasts or monsters, and psychic types mess with their mind because they don't think much and rather have an unintelligent but aggressive nature. Just think of that classic bully in school, and that would be the definition of beast and monster types. Also, giving that typing to future legendary Pokemon would be pretty epic. Zombie type would be kind of the same concept as the beast and monster typing, but more of an uglier and scarier version of them. They would trump fairy and be immune to ground since that's where they came from. They could be weak to grass because grass moves could pull them back to the grave or something like that. Psychic could also beat zombie the way that monster and beast type lose to psychic. Wind or air typing would be a great way to separate being able to fly and actually having wind powers. Flying types never really made any sense to me since it doesn't really mean it's a type, but what it physically has on its body. Changing it to wind or air type would suit it for a replacement as well, but let's just talk about adding it for a type. The type of Pokemon could be the biggest addition. Giving a pocket monster wind powers doesn't mean that it has wings, but could still make it resistant or immune to ground. For the sake of giving it a difference between flying an air/wind type, let's just make it resistant to ground instead of being immune. It can be super effective against fire since wind can put out a fire. It could also be super effective against fighting since you know you could blow the air below the fighting type's feet to prevent stabilization for moves. Air and wind type could be weak to rock because when you think of boulders, wind doesn't really do much to it. You could also have it weak to Psychic just for the fact that you come up with a reason that Psychic can be stronger than anything and Psychic types need to be buffed. Warrior type could be considered a much stronger version of Fighting type, kind of like how Fighting type is a much stronger version of Normal type. Warrior type can be super effective against Water type since no amount of water would ever stop a warrior. It would also be strong against fighting because of its extra aggressive physical nature of a warrior would be too much for a fairy. Maybe have it weak to Rock type because rocks would damage the type's weapons. As far as a magic type goes, you could come up with a reason that it's stronger than fairy types with the whole fantasy aspect of fairies, dragons, and sorcerers. Weaknesses could be Psychic and Ghost because any other weakness to a magic type really doesn't make any sense. Well, that's it for this video today, but maybe there will be a part 2 if you guys comment some new types that I haven't thought of before, so make sure you guys voice your opinion in the comment section below, and I do try to read all of them. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. If you're interested in more content, subscribe to my channel for future content like this. Have a good one, guys, and I'm out.